If you just tuned in to this episode, this podcast, chances are really good that you are a woman over 40. You probably have a lot of responsibilities and you're wanting to lose fat, get strong, be healthy and fit. But you're feeling like, I just don't have the time. Well, if that's you, then this episode is specifically for you. I want to share with you how you don't need hours in the gym to build a strong, fit body. Let's get into it. Hey, girl, welcome back. Thank you so much for tuning in again today. Today, oh man, it's kind of been a very, if you've known and you know, this has been a pretty heavy week for me. There's a lot going on in my life. I think I'm probably not the only one. I'm probably not alone. I'm sure that many of you listening have been experienced a lot of heaviness too. For me, of course, losing my Fiji last week was really hard on me, and it's still hard because she's been part of my family, and still grieving that. So it's been heavy. And then on top of that, some other things going on, and I was gone for a couple of days to Las Vegas. Uh, Country boy had a work trip that was kind of unexpected, and he asked me if I would go with him, and I asked him, well, are you still going to go if I don't go? And he said no. So I'm like, okay, I'm going, because I wanted to support him. I knew that this would be a really good trip for him, and I also knew I could still work remotely. So that's what I did. And we went to Las Vegas. We didn't have a real plan. We did enjoy ourselves. We had a really good time. That wasn't really why we were there. We had a good time because we did some fun things after he had gotten off work on both nights that we were there, because we were there for 2 whole days. And so we went on a helicopter flight the first evening, and then the next evening we went and saw the Blue Boys. I mean, they're called the Blue Man Group. That was a really fun show. So we did get to do a couple of really interesting, fun things. And I have ridden on a helicopter before. That wasn't the first time. That was actually my third. That was my third helicopter trip. I did that same helicopter trip when I was a teenager, on the strip of Las Vegas. And then I got to ride in a helicopter with a Coast Guard, yeah, from a ship. That's a whole different story. But I have been on a helicopter a few times. So that was fun. And it was just kind of neat to get away. And I got to say, Las Vegas actually redeemed itself, because the last time I went to Las Vegas was with Country Boy, and it was back in 2015. That we went because I had a work trip, and that was 10 years ago. 10 years ago. That's crazy. And after that trip, I said to myself, I don't want to go back to Las Vegas ever again, because it was like everywhere we went, no matter where we went, there was smoke, cigarette smoke everywhere. I just felt like I was stuffy, clogged. I couldn't breathe anywhere we went. Even the hotel we stayed in, it felt like, even we had a non-smoking room, but in that non-smoking room, I could still smell the cigarette smoke in that room coming from, the lobby or whatever. But this time, Las Vegas really, really has stepped it up. Even Country Boy was really impressed. There was hardly any smoking going on anywhere. I mean, there was smoking casinos, but we weren't hanging out in casinos. We stayed at Caesar's Palace, and there was smoking in those lobbies, but apparently they've gotten the air filtration system figured out in these places, and that was not an issue at all the entire time we were there. No breathing issues. It was beautiful weather, and even every place we went was really. The other thing that I was really impressed by was it was clean. Everything was well maintained and clean and neat and nice, and it was like, wow. The food places we went to eat, the food was great. I had a pizza pie with Country Boy. It was something he was wanting, and that was delicious. And then we went to Old Red. Old Red was this big restaurant and music place, supposedly Blake Shelton's place. And I had, this was totally off the wall. I don't even know why I chose it. I'm like, I'm gonna have something totally different. And I had the meatloaf, and it was really good. So it was meatloaf on top of a big, serving of mashed potatoes. So we ate and lived it up. Of course, that was totally off of my Rockstar routine. Was I worried about it? No, I wasn't, because, and Rockstar ladies, when we have built our lifestyle and we have our habits in place, sometimes we go off and it's a totally different thing and we're not losing our gains. So it was really nice to get away. So let's go ahead and get into this episode. I want to make this pretty quick and not really long-winded. I really wanted to share that I got to thinking about this because somebody asked me on one of the social platforms when they saw my transformation. I had a video up that kind of went through real quickly, a bunch of pictures and stuff of my transformation period of time, where they could see slowly over time my transformation. It's funny because a lot of times I can go back and look at that and I don't think much of it because I've seen it so many times, but it does have a shock, kind of a shock value for a lot of people who haven't seen it. And anyway, the question was, what exercises did you do in the beginning? And I think the question was coming from a place of like, I want to do that. I want to have that transformation too. So what exercises do I need to start out doing? But the overriding picture here, and the thing that inspired me for this episode, is to say, I have only, and I know I've mentioned this before, so it's not the first time, I've only been doing strength training 3 days a week, all of these years since my transformation. And I want to speak to this because there are a lot of women most women who are really, we've got a lot going on. We're busy. We've got a lot of responsibilities, our work, our family, and other things that we volunteer and say yes to. We keep a pretty busy schedule. And so most women are thinking, when they see somebody who is fit and lean and healthy and strong, or they see a physique where it's like they think in their mind, oh my gosh, that must take hours in the gym to do that. And it's really interesting because when I share with people, a lot of people, when they ask me this, you must work out every single day. Do you work out every day in the gym? That's what people think when they see me. It's so fascinating. It's really interesting. I was just telling you, this is like side note here. When Ron and I are traveling and people are looking at me, he's like, they're looking at you and this and that. And I'm like, it's because I'm a minority. It feels sometimes like, why is it so weird? Like, why are people looking at me? Because apparently not many people look fit, which I think, why can't we just do this? Like, because it ought to be the other way around. We ought to be healthy and fit. And I don't know. I just think it's possible for all of us to do it. I don't know. That's just a side note. I feel like I am a minority. I'm like, this is because I'm a minority, because not many people look fit. Yeah. Anyway, it's kind of weird, right? To be the minority. Why should it be that way? But anyway, I digress. The point that I want to make in this podcast episode is, girl, if you're feeling like life is busy and heavy, and it must take so much time to actually transform your body, I want to give you some hope today, because it really doesn't take the time that so many people think it does. And what it takes is having a strategic plan in place. And like I say, for myself, I want to tell you my story of how I started. And going back to the question that was asked, the question was, what exercises did you start out with? Because the person sees my transformation story in a short video clip, and the first question they're asking is, what did you do? What was the first exercise you started out with? So I was inspired to do this episode based off of that. And I just want to share my story, a little bit of my story, and how I actually started and what exercise did I start with. But before I do that, I do want to remind us all that each and every one of us, if you are just getting started on your fitness journey, you are just getting started. You're right where you are. You're right where you're supposed to be. And I want to help you understand that you can release yourself of expectations of being somewhere you're supposed to already, quote unquote, be on your fitness journey. You're right where you are. You're right where you're supposed to be. And for you, the most important thing is to decide where you're going to go from here and begin now. And it's never too late. I always say that. And it's very true because it doesn't matter how old you are, it doesn't matter your age. It matters that you are improving yourself and you can make improvements to your body at any age. The body is amazing. It's phenomenal. You can make changes. You can make changes. But again, let me go ahead and tell you the reason that's what it was. I was inspired to tell the story because this question was asked. And so when I say that, it means that not everybody's journey needs to start the same way. So when I share my story, I'm not saying you need to do your story like mine. I'm saying think about what you need to do to begin, to get started for yourself, for your health and fitness journey. And I want to also ask you to perhaps let go of ideas and thoughts about the time it's going to take. And let's get curious about what it actually will take and how you can do it if you choose to. Because truly we really end up doing what we want to do anyway, right? We can make things happen, ladies. You know we can. Anyway, so I'm going to share my story of how I got started and tell you a little bit more about my 3-day a week strength training. And I just want you, as I'm sharing, to think about how you may start out. No matter where you are, it's never too late. But for me, I was 46 and I was staring at myself in the mirror, over 60 pounds overweight, and I was not healthy. And I started out focusing on my nutrition. So I'm going to skip ahead because I focused on my nutrition at first, quite honestly. Now I understand all of the pieces and how they work together, but you know that we need to establish one habit at a time. So skipping ahead, once I felt like I had the skills implemented and I was working on my nutrition, I really knew that it was time for me to get started with my fitness. I didn't want to just do what I have always done in the past, which is, group classes, cardio, running, and trying to do these things. I knew that I needed to start strength training. I knew that building muscle was going to be key to my maintenance when I reached my healthy weight. But I didn't go straight into the gym to do that because I knew I needed to establish a habit of sorts. So for me, it was all about I needed to establish a habit. So what I did was I told myself, let's get started with let's just start walking. I wanted to prove to myself that I could commit to this. So 3 days a week, I decided for 30 days that I would go out and walk for 15 minutes away and 15 minutes back. Many of you have heard this story before. So maybe there's something in this that will, I don't know, spark an idea or resonate with you for something different for yourself. So I did that. And I said to myself, after I do this 30 minutes of walking 3 days a week for 30 days, then I'm going to get myself a gym membership. That was my commitment to myself. And the thing is, when you get to a point where you're sick and tired of being sick and tired, there's no longer this question of if you will do the thing. It's a matter of when and how you're going to get it done. You find ways. So the commitment was not if I was going to do it, I was going to do it. And in that, establishing this habit of showing up for myself 3 days a week, you learn what things get in the way and you learn what needs to happen to make your commitment to yourself happen. And there's no guilt and shame or any of that surrounding this. It's all an experiment, as always. So once I got that, I did. I completed the 30 days. I showed up for myself with 30 minutes of walking 3 days a week, 15 minutes away, 15 minutes back. That evolved later, right? But I did get myself a gym membership. And what did I do? I continued my 3 days a week with my walking. And that turned into a walk jogging. And then it turned into jogging. And then that turned into some, cardio, zone 2 cardio, if you will. But I started going to the gym 2 days a week. Now, I will say, as a side note, that I believe that we can optimize our muscle building and strength with 3 days a week. That's what I've been doing. I started out with 2 days a week for a short period of time, and then I swapped my walking, running for 3 days a week of strength training and 2 days a week of my jogging, running, whatever you want to call it. But when I was doing my strength training, I didn't really know a whole lot about it. I was studying it, I was researching it, I was finding training programs, but slowly over time, I learned that I was getting some results that I had never gotten before. I had never gotten these kind of results doing all the cardio and all of the classes and all the extreme things that I was trying to do in the past. And I learned, right, because I talk about this all the time, since I had learned the importance of building muscle and the benefits of building muscle, I was committed to this and I really started to see some changes. And as you know, the story goes on. So the exercises I did were a lot of compound movements. And what a compound movement is when you are working multiple muscles at one time, things like push-ups, pull-ups, bench press, deadlifting, squats. I even did planking. So a lot of these things where you are doing multiple muscles at one time, and you're building your overall strength. These are some of the best exercises that you can do when you're getting started, and then continue on, right? I believe in the compound exercises. So what I want to share is that that's how I got started. And since then, of course, I became a personal trainer. I learned more about strength training. I started, building my own programming and programming for myself. I started programming for other women. Of course, I started Rock That Fitness and all of that. But let me go ahead and say that's how I started. But I want to encourage you to start strength training wherever you're at, because this is where the gold is. Building muscle and getting strong is going to do amazing things for your body. So before I got into strength training, before I actually started optimizing my fitness in this way, the things I was chasing for my weight loss were things like that. Like I said, the endless cardio, boot camps and body pumps and these kind of things, and diet programs. But none of that was sustainable. And it was always like I felt like I needed to put in hours and hours of that, which is not the same when it comes to strength training. So I committed, like I said, I committed to the 3 workouts a week, and that is all I have been doing ever since. And this is the whole point that I want to make. It hasn't taken me hours and hours in the gym to build up my body, to build my strength, to build my muscles. It is only taking me 3 days a week with a 3-day split. Lower body, upper body, full body. Sometimes I switch those around, but that is all I've been doing for 3 days a week. And it's only takes 45 minutes to 60, like under an hour for 3 days a week. Think about that. That's efficient. Isn't that efficient? So let's talk about why 3 days a week works. Again, I want to remind everybody that yes, there's 4-day splits too, or there's other training. If you are getting a program that's, one-on-one and your coach has you splitting up your training over the week for 4 days, 5 days, whatever's going on there, that's fine. That's between you and your coach. But I will say that having 4-day split versus 3-day split, depending on your personal goals, one is not better than the other. And I've tried 4-day split, but because of my schedule and because of my other activities in my week, I've chosen to continue my 3-day a week training, and it's done wonders for my body. So I want to just kind of build a case for why 3 days a week works. And it's not just 3 days a week that works, but also the 4 days a week, whatever. Muscle needs consistency, not chaos. I know a lot of times people think I just need to confuse my muscles so they will grow. That is a big myth. That is false. That is not true. 3 focused sessions a week on a progressive overload is going to give you results if you're bringing the intensity and you're showing up consistently. Okay. So it's about the quality, not the quantity. there's 4 things I want to share here. Number 2, muscle is metabolically active. I mentioned this last week on the podcast. It burns calories just to exist. And if you want to shape your body, not just lose weight, you want to shape your body, you must be strengthening and building your muscle. This is going to change your body. It's going to make your body firmer, tighter, stronger. Number 3, recovery is part of the process. And too many women are out there working out, doing workouts every day, and then they burn out and they're not getting results because they aren't doing this in a way that is sustainable. And you need to build in recovery. So those rest days, I know in the beginning, I didn't quite understand that myself as a beginner. I was like, more is better. That's not true. Better is better. More isn't better. Recovery days equals muscle building days because it's not when you're in the gym, it's when your body is resting and recovering that your muscle builds, grows, and gets stronger. 3 days a week allows time and reduces burnout, and it's sustainable. And science supports all of this. This is number 4. Studies show that when you do strength training on a regular, consistent basis, progressive overload, this is optimal for women over 40 and including those compound movements. And we do this in RTF. We have a compound movement for beginning every session, which is, like I said, it's very effective for ladies over 40, all of us over 40. And also it's effective for beginners or people returning to strength training. You used to strength train, you haven't strength trained in a long time. Going into strength training on a 3-day-a-week plan, just starting out with dumbbells. Even if you haven't strength trained in a long time or you're a beginner, this is a great way to get started. Let's talk about some myths that many women believe that are completely false. I have here 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 that I want to cover here. The first one here, I have to work out every single day to get results. That's not true. The truth is you need to train on with a strategy, this is what we do, right? Strength training on a plan. You need consistency and you need the right kind of training for you. Strength training 3 days a week with intentional progression is scientifically proven to build muscle and boost metabolism and reshape your body. So you don't need to work out every single day. In fact, if you're working out every single day, you're probably working against your body and increasing, cortisol and stress for your body, and that's not helpful. The next one I have here is I need to feel sore or I need to feel sweaty for it to count. And this, to me now, it's funny because I used to think the same thing, but a good workout is not indicated by soreness or sweatiness. So the truth is, soreness and sweat don't equal progress. Strength training is about stimulating the muscle so that the muscle will grow. And that doesn't mean you need to be crushing yourself, wearing yourself out, torturing yourself, because it's not about burning out. It's about building up. And when you do strength training, that's not necessarily the case. Some women don't even break a sweat. So you don't have to be sweaty to get an effective training session in, and you don't need to be sore the next day either. Yes, there may be soreness if you're starting a new program, or you haven't done some moves in a long time. Yeah, that's normal, but that doesn't indicate that you had a great workout. The next one I have here is I don't have time for long workouts. Well, we just talked about that. We don't need to be spending hours and hours in the gym. You really just need, like I said, three days a week, 3 sessions for an under 60 minutes, 45 minutes to 60 minutes, and you can completely transform your body. Of course, nutrition plays a part, but transform your body with strength and confidence. And this is without letting it take over your life. So think about in your life, if you wanted to, could you carve out 45 minutes for 3 days a week? You could, if you want to. If you want to, you can make it happen. The next one, I'm too old to start lifting. Nobody is too old to start lifting. There are women that started in their 70s. We all know their stories, right? It's never too late. In fact, after 40, it's the most important time to start because ladies, we're losing muscle mass if we don't. If we don't continue to build muscle and stimulate these muscles, they're just going to get weaker. And I mentioned this last week, and this has to do with, lifting the same weights over and over, doing the same workouts all the time. That's not helping you build muscle either. We need to be challenging our muscles. Okay. But anyway, it's never too late to start lifting weights. And then this one I find interesting. I'll get bulky if I lift weights. And the truth is, the only way you're going to get bulky, I mean, bulky as in looking like manly or that kind of thing. Like I dare you to try to do that, because a woman does not have the hormones available in her body to build that kind of bulkiness, to get that bulkiness. Now, what I think women are saying when they say that is they have excess weight on their body. And so because they're not dialing in their nutrition for fat loss, they may be building muscle, and then they're feeling bulky because they haven't been shedding the fat. So in order to have your muscles look more defined, a lot of women like to use the word toned. To do that, you must shed the fat. You have muscle. It's got to build the muscle and shed the fat for its sake. So building visible muscle takes serious time and effort and intention. It's not something your body isn't going to just be building muscle. Okay. We have to be very intentional. You have to have a strategy in place. But strength training really is the thing that gives you a tight toned, sculpted look that no amount of cardio is going to create. And part of my story is that I was very much into cardio. I used to run all of the time, and still I wouldn't look fit. I would look at my legs, look in the mirror and go, and I'm talking like a marathon training. I've done 2 marathons. I used to do half marathons, triathlons, and still I did not look like I worked out. I did not look. I was like, what's going on here? Because all of that cardio is never going to give us the sculpted look that we want. We must be strength training to build muscle on a structured plan. Have I said that enough? So I'll tell you right now, over the past 7 years, this has been such a game changer for me. Starting at 46, I'm 54 now. If people will I see myself, and I am like amazed because I haven't been putting in hours and hours in the gym. I am telling you, this is the God honest truth. It's only been 3 days a week, and for less than an hour of training 3 days a week. This is what I've gotten. Yes, I've also dialed in my nutrition. But like I say, as far as the strength training piece of this, that's all it takes. I have more energy. I have more time back in my life. I've got the results. I am leaner. I am stronger. I am definitely more confident. I can tell you that confidence building muscle and getting strong will definitely spill over into feeling confident in your life. So, and then, just having that regimen for me, that strength training regimen week after week, doing that strength training has built in me just that's the automation for me. So when times get tough, like I know there's some things going on in current events right now that are really heavy, but even current events that are heavy or things happening in your life with your work situation or your family, there's always going to be things in life that make things heavy and hard, right? But when we can get into a rockstar routine of strength training and we just show up for ourselves, that is giving us the extra boost in life and helping us. So when that's automated, when life gets heavy like that, you still have that you can show up for yourself. And that's huge. I noticed that for myself today because I went to the gym feeling all kinds of ways. But even in the midst of that, when you're stepping into the gym and you're training, and this is something that you're doing for your health, for your body, there's a certain kind of energy that rises up in you and helps you through these harder times in life. It's like you're feeling stronger when you do these things, when you're strength training in the gym, and that strength, it just spills over into all the other areas of your life. So it's definitely given me a sense of control, and a lot of, and our clients too. You see this in the Rockstar Ladies, if you're listening, so impressed with you guys because I'm seeing the same thing in your lives. Um, and so because I'm sharing this, I'm going somewhere with this. I was going to mention this at the beginning of the podcast episode and I forgot. I don't know how I forgot. But if you don't know this yet, I'm hosting Jumpstart Challenge, which is our 7-day, our free 7-day Rockstar Body Jumpstart Challenge, which if this is dropping on Monday, so today is the day that we're actually starting the training. But I want to tell you that it is not too late to join in on this training, to join in on this challenge. And if you're listening to this on Monday, highly recommend that you go to the show notes, click on the link and come get in here. It is not too late. This is for you if you are a woman over 40, you are busy, you're feeling overwhelmed, you want to go to the gym, you want to start strength training either at home or at the gym, but you just don't even know where to start, but you want to start a transformation for yourself. This is for you. This is for you if you want results that are going to last. This is for you. If you want to feel strong and not just skinny, this is for you. And it's not too late. So come on in here and I will be the one to coach you. I will be there for you. I'm going to guide you through the strength training that we're doing in the Jumpstart 3 days a week. Either at home or at the gym. And I'm also going to be inside of our Jumpstart community. We also have a lot of the Rockstar ladies from RTF in the community in there to help support you. You won't be alone. And there's going to be other women. We've already got many women signed up for this. So you're not going to be alone. Come on in. If you're listening to this, there's a reason. It's not by mistake. It's not by chance. There's a reason why you're listening. And there's a reason why you came to this episode today. And I want to encourage you that it's not going to take all kinds of time. It doesn't take hours in the gym. And you can do it. You're not too far gone. You're not too old. It's not too late. All of those things that you hear out there, or maybe you are saying to yourself, and language is transformative. And if you've been saying that, I want to encourage you to change that story for yourself and come on in here and find out what it's like to be on a real strength training program. 3 days a week, you're going to get to come inside and use our app, the Rock That Fitness app, which is very user friendly. It's so easy, so simple. You just follow the exercises. There's demonstrations in there. There's instructions in there. And then as you're doing your exercises, you will just put in there the weight that you used, how many reps you did, how many sets. And then you're going to get to see what that looks like inside the app and how to use it. So I just want to invite you. You are invited. You can say yes or no. I want to do this or I don't want to do this. I want this for you, but I can't want it. I cannot be the one to want it for you. You have to want it for yourself, but do it for you, not for anybody else. When you make that decision to do this for you, that's going to be game changer for you. Like it's one thing to try to do something for somebody else or want somebody else to do it with you. But if you have a desire in your heart to truly change your body and your mind, because we are a big part of that. This isn't just, I'm going to just tell you right now, I'm warning, caution, warning, Rock That Fitness training is not just for your body. It's also for your mind. We're going to talk about this because I'm all about you making changes that are going to be lasting. It's not just about the food. It's not just about the fitness. It's truly about you stepping into the best version of who you're meant to be and who you're becoming. You know that we hear this time and time again. It's not about the destination. It's about the journey, which is really so true. I cannot reiterate that enough. It is, and I can attest to it because I remember back when I was starting out and I used to think to myself, I want to get there. I want to hurry up and get there. But what I've learned in these past 7+ years on my fitness journey is that who I am today is completely different. I'm not the same as I was. And it's all about the journey and everything I've learned and grown and experienced through my journey. It's the journey that we can embrace and love, and who we're becoming along the way. That is truly the destination. That is the reward. So if you're ready to step into a better version of yourself, to do something different, to start strength training on a plan that works for you, then I want to invite you to come on in here and do the thing. There's going to be live coaching. I'm going to be inside of this community live. I will be answering your questions. We're also going to be I'll be doing 2 live trainings during this coming week. And you will be a part of it, and I'll be coaching you and guiding you. So not only are you going to be getting strength training in the app and learning about what it really means to do that, or getting back to strength training if you haven't done it in a long time and you need a plan, like just get started. Let's do it. But also we are going to be addressing nutrition from the evidence-based approach for fat loss and muscle building. And like I say, you're not going to get away without talking about mindset. And I will challenge you, because if it doesn't challenge you, it does not change you. And I'm all about the challenge. So we got to challenge ourselves if we want real change. It's scary, but you got to do it scared, girl. You got to. Otherwise, nothing changes if nothing changes. So you will experience just how powerful and how doable it really is to just do 3 days a week. That's all we're doing. 3 days a week for less than 60 minutes a day. And you get to do this with a bunch of other women that are just doing this challenge this week. And it's going to be a lot of fun. And along the way, you'll be getting emails from me, some educational emails sharing with you more. So you will have more insight, because there really is so much more to this there's so much more to strength training than people think there is. There's a lot to learn. I am still learning. It's endless. So you don't need to do it perfect. I want to remind you that this is not about being perfect. There's no such thing as being perfect. And again, you don't have to spend hours to do it. You just need a plan, and you need the willingness to start. So let's get started, so you can start to see the stronger, leaner, more energized body that you can have. And it's up to you for 3 days a week. So that's what I got for you, girl. I just want you to know that it's not too late. Yes, you can do it. I started at 46. I didn't even realize what I was about to step into, but I just kept going. And I've only been doing this 3 days a week. And I'm just like you. There's nothing special. I mean, special. We're all special, right? But I'm no different than anyone else who just decided to pick up the tools, put them to work, and keep showing up consistently, not perfectly. It's all about the progress. It's not about perfection. Again, there's no such thing as perfection. So I really, really hope that you will take me up on this challenge and come on in here. I'm going to be super pumped to see you come in, and you aren't going to regret it. You're going to learn so much, and you're going to learn a lot about yourself and what you are actually capable of. So are you ready? Come on in. Jump start. Let's jump start together. And don't forget, every single day, self-care, self-love, all day, every day, in every way. Do I have your word? Good. Let's rock on.